Welcome back, friends. Big W for Global Persona 5X today. We got a letter from the producers. So Sega's a producer for the global servers, and it's full of information. It's full of addressing some of our concerns and ultimately gives us a lot of wins. So I want to cover that today. I understand you've probably already watched 15 videos of this. Mine will come out later in the day because I have another video already scheduled for about an hour from now from when I'm recording. But let's cover this. I don't want to drag this out too far. But as always, friends, like and sub the video. I'm trying to get to 10K and I need your help to do it because I can't make my own accounts and subscribe to myself 10,000 times. So if you like me, if you like the content, please do me a favor and hit that sub button. Let's just dive right into this. I'm not going to go word for word. I want to give you a grander summary. In general, this is addressing one of my main concerns. The communication from the publisher to ourselves on global, I felt that they weren't doing it enough. I felt that they weren't covering the specificities of what we wanted. Now, this doesn't cover literally every point that we're concerned about, but it covers a lot of them. So this is A, great. B, it's a sign of a good direction. And I think overall, there's just a lot to like about this news, if you will. So let's go through it. First one, I'm not going to read all this. Basically, this has to do with the contract system, how we pull our characters. Let me show you the KR version of this. And I know most of you know about this. And this has to do with the current banners that we have, which is this 50-50. So, you get to your 80 pull, you have a 50% chance of getting the featured unit. And then if you fail, you get a standard character 5-star, and then you have to do it again. And if you get to 80 again, you hit the hard pity. So a lot of people have been asking and wanting the 110 banner. This came out about 6 months after the launch of the game in the other servers, and they're going to give this early. So if you don't know what this is, I have videos on it, but the super high fast summary is instead of a 50-50, if you get to 110 pulls, you get the character, but the rates are much, much, much lower. Truth be told, most times I go to the 110 when I pull on this. It is what it is. And then once you've accumulated 165 pulls, you get a random of the 5-star standards. So you get like an extra character. So overall, a lot of people are looking for this. It's for us going to be a huge win because we're going to get this early. They don't specify what patch this will come out in. I don't think I would expect this to hit Yumi. Best case scenario, I think, would be 2.0, but that might even be a bit early. But either way, they're going to give this to us earlier than we would have gotten it in the other servers. So this was a big one for the community. I think this is a huge win for all of us. The Minami Cognite Shard and 5-star weapon. So the business plan, which I don't have my global client up, but basically levels 3 and 4, when you finish those parts of the books, you got the choice of a Cognite Shard, which allows you to do a character breakthrough. Doesn't give you the character, lets you do the breakthrough one time. And then the 5-star weapon is a 5-star weapon, again, for standard characters. What this is saying is that in the CN Asia versions, that when Business Plan 3 and 4 came out, Minami was already in the selector pool. So for them, she was already a standard character, which is why those were included in the books. For us, she is not. And so first off, they're framing up the why she's not there. You could argue if you want whether or not you think that's fair. I know a lot of us wish she was in there. She's not. That's just the fact of the matter. But the W here is to say that they plan to provide a new method for players to obtain the Cognite and weapon. They're preparing a special campaign that will also benefit those who obtain duplicates of her and her weapon. Details will come at a later part of this letter. We'll get to it when we get to it. But effectively, this just means that they're going to give us a way to get her shard and her weapon. Now, this doesn't give us a way to get her. If you did not pull her, I think you're still going to be stuck waiting. My copium here, my hope, is that whenever this special feature comes out, it would be amazing if they gave a rerun. If they said, hey, let's also give, the other 2 weeks that we didn't get on the banner since everything else has been a month-long banner. That way, those people that want to pull her can pull her and can use the shard. Because again, the shard does not grant you the character. It just gives you an awakening. But they are going to give us a special campaign, which will be unique to global to get this. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. All right, so the next one is, I'm not sure if you call this an L or an extension of an existing L, but they're talking about Minami and Yumi going to the standard banner. So again, if I switch over to the existing client, you can see Minami's in here. You can see Yui's in here. Yumi, not Yui, Yumi. And so, oops, I just clicked on somebody. But in any case, these characters would hit the standard banner directly after their limited banner went away. So that's, obviously a big difference between versions. And in here, what they're saying is they're directly addressing these two because Minami's already out and Yumi is our next character here in a couple days. And they're saying that they are still looking to do roughly 6 months after their initial release. Now, they don't say the why in here. I wish they would. But I keep hearing, and I would like to fact check this, so don't take this as I'm saying this is the definitive thing, but I keep hearing people repeat over and over again, and I don't know if this is just internet echoing, that this has to do with Japanese law. I don't know if that's true. I don't know of any laws that specify the 6-month contract or anything like that. And so I don't know what that is or isn't, and also why that would impact other versions and other servers. For example, I don't know, the US one or ones in EMEA. So I don't know what truth there is to that. But what this is framing up is that we will be waiting 6 months for Minami and Yumi. Ironically, my Yumi video came up before I filmed this one, so I have to put a pinned comment that mentions this because I was like, hey, I don't know what they're going to do here. And then for future characters, like I was showing on the screen a second ago, I'm assuming, and I'm going to take the safe stance, that they will also be a 6-month delay. They don't specifically call them out. And the wording is a little bit vague here, but based on this, I would assume so. So this is, again, a continuation of an L. It will change my pull plans for future standard banner characters. And also, unfortunately, means that for quite some time to come, my gold cards are going to be useless. They're going to sit there and just collect. So don't love that, but it is what it is. Frequency of new characters and free rewards. I'm surprised they cover this one. So this is talking about how with the sped up content, we are feeling the pains of not having enough pull currency for characters and weapons. We have prepared multiple avenues of players to obtain contract currencies, such as through login rewards and through content. So for example, the when you log in, you get the little tickets or whatever for, I keep forgetting what it is, the daily login rewards. We plan to release a large scale update with version 2.0. To celebrate this update, players will be able to obtain 20 tickets, 20 platinum Milo coins through login bonus. So first of all, 20 limited character pools, 20 weapon pools. This is fantastic. We are planning to hold many other campaigns, details later, so we'll get to that in the section down here. But this is fantastic. This means that they are considering the amount of which we are getting sped up content versus the amount of items that we're getting, specifically pull items. So it's good to see that we're just going to get, pulls and coins given to us. I'm never going to argue about that. But they're also going to do more for us and hopefully address the sped up content. Now, I hope that it will also include the other leveling mats. A lot of times they've, put those into campaigns, but we'll see. We'll see what they actually do here. But this is great that they're giving us more. Paid items. We would like to share details on paid items. So this is going to be for you spenders, be it, small spenders or whales. This is essentially saying that there's differences between the paid shops. They're saying that this is because of regulations in different countries, but they're going to offer new items and, replace items that can't be sold within our versions. Although it's difficult to have the items offered be the exact same thing, they're trying to make the value as close as possible. So I've had some criticisms on the shop. I don't think it's always great. There's some decent packs, not a lot of amazing packs, and some really crappy ones. But it sounds like they're going to give us new paid shop items for those of us who do spend. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Once I see the new shop items, I'll cover it. I'll let you guys know if I think the value is actually truly there. But it's good that they're also considering this front because some of us do spend. Upcoming features and campaigns. All right, here's the meat of some of the stuff up top. We are currently working on a feature where players can obtain various items by dispatching characters of their choosing through tasks. Players can obtain special items once a week called Thief's Cognite Shards. Players can exchange 60 of these special items for Cognite that can be used to increase the awareness level of a character. This is going to come with 2.0. So I'm going to show you what this looks like really briefly here if you haven't seen it before. And so in the existing game for other clients, you have tasks. Tasks are basically a window where, for example, if I click on this one, it will take 13 minutes. I'll get 10 metajoules and some leveling items, and I can pick who I send or I just send the best, and this is going to give me this reward after 13 minutes. These are the Cognite shards, so this one would take a couple hours, and basically in the current versions, you can pick any of the standard banner characters, but you need 60 of these. 60. So it's not like I just come back with a on dupe. I need 60 of these fragments, and then I can convert that into one of these duplicates. And then this is for like a special shop thing, so whatever. And then these other ones will give you like different leveling materials, you know, Kambaku gems, whatever. And so this doesn't tie up your characters. You don't lose them or anything. They just go into this like special holdover for X amount of hours and come back with items. So it's a good thing. It gives you extra materials. You get the Cognite shard. You get some extra gems. Overall, a great feature. So they're going to be implementing this with 2.0. Now, it does take time to level it up to get all the max rewards, but that will come with time. We'll talk a little bit about the Cognite shards in a second here as well. Matter of fact, I'm just going to skip to it. So the Cognite shards, by gathering 60, players can exchange for the awakening of a character. Again, it doesn't grant you the character, it's for an awakening. The big W here, you saw it on my screen, it was just for standard characters in the other versions. In the Japanese and Western versions, this will also extend to 5-star characters like Ren, Minami, Yui, Yusuke, Makoto, and Yumi. So they're naming the characters we know about right now. I could take this as maybe they'll add in other limiteds as time goes by, but this is huge. So like, for example, if you really want to get a dupe on Makoto, over time, you can save up for that. Now, I will say that the fact that they mention that this is once a week, so in the tasks, you can get, you know, one a week. That means 60 weeks to get a Cognite shard. They must have changed something in the other versions, because I have 60 of these, and I have not played consistently 60 weeks, so I've done this every single week. Plus, it wasn't like I didn't open it on day one and get these shards. So in some other capacity, we have had to have gotten awakening shards or Cognite shards. So even though this is saying 60 per week, I think that's specific to the tasks. I would anticipate that there will be ways to get these slightly faster. Now, I don't think you're going to be getting a awakening shard every 2 months, every 3 months, every 4 months. I think if we even got one every 6 months, that would be mind-blowing to me. But it is interesting. We are getting away, but the huge win here is including limited characters. Big W for the global servers. Let's back it up a level. So Lufel's business plan EX, they're going to add to the business plan. We're going to get new, I don't know, expansions, branches into the business plan. So after the level 4 book, the rewards for this feature will make it easier for players to forge their 5-star weapons. So think of like shards to increase a weapon. Actually, I think I can show it to you. There's an item in KR in EY shop. Let me head over there while I'm talking here. Let me switch windows. And basically, it allows you to awaken, do an awareness, breakthrough, overclock, whatever you call this feature. But it lets you break through a weapon. And so if I pop over to his shop, where am I? I'm like lost. Let's go down the alleyway here. If I pop over here, there is additional, this is actually a brand new feature to the other servers where you can buy the 5-star limited weapons. They cost 20 tokens, and it's only after a character is on a rerun. But also there's this. So special materials used for 5-star weapon modifications. So it's going to be something I would imagine like this that will allow you to break through a weapon. I don't know all the details, obviously they didn't go into specifics, but it's going to be something like this, a weapon, and then I can go into, you know, one of my characters and then make it a, you know, +1 or one awakening or whatever you want to call it. So that's really cool. So they're going to give this in the business plan. And then, yeah, they're going to announce when at a later date. I'm guessing a little ways off, not like 2.0 or anything like that. And then this bottom part here, Thief, Cognite Shard, and 5-star weapon special gift campaigns. This is a previous mentioned campaign where players can obtain Minami's Shard and 5-star weapon. Around mid to late September, they will hold a special campaign exclusive to the global versions where players can obtain Thief's Cognite Shard and weapon. In this campaign, players will have the opportunity to obtain 60 Cognite Shards, so this is what you convert over, that can be exchanged for the Cognite of one of the available 5-star characters. So again, you actually don't have to use this on Minami. So if you don't have her, you know, maybe you want to use it on Joker, whatever your choice is. Following that, we'll also hold a gift campaign where players can select a 5-star weapon, which will include Minami. So another, hey, you can get her weapon or it sounds like somebody else's, and they'll give details later. But this is huge. This is a global only thing. So a way to get her awakening and weapon, or, you know, if you want to use it on someone else, it sounds like that will be possible. And then on the bottom, closing this out. So basically they're just saying, hey, they read our feedback, they're addressing things, And, we're progressing through playthroughs quickly, and then we're doing our daily sessions. They want to give us new experiences to grow our characters. They're going to give us a new, a fellow business plan. And they're going to continue to communicate through the usual social media platforms that you would expect them to, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And so they're already giving us quite a bit in here. My friends, I think that this was huge, truth be told. It's a lot of what we were talking about. Is it absolutely everything? No. And I know some people are going to come to the comments and tell me the 10 things they didn't address. It's fine. This is a huge step forward that's included with a lot of communication, which is something that I've been very critical on the company for. So I take this as a big win. I'm a little bit bummed that they're going to stick to the 6 months on Minami, Yumi, and probably any other standard character. That's kind of a loss to continue that. But everything else is a win. If I go back to that first stream, it was like they had one win with 10 tickets and coins and everything else was a loss. This is like flipped right around, right? So overall, good stuff. I'm not going to drag this video out any further. Let me know your comments and thoughts down in the comments below. Do you like what they did here? Do you think it's enough? What else do you want to see them change? Of course, we'll continue to champion, getting this to the ultimate version of the game that we possibly can within reason. And my friends, with that, again, like and sub, and I will see you on our next video. Take care of yourselves.